Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The co-manager for Deontay Wilder, Shelley Finkel, says negotiations with Eddie Hearn for an undisputed fight with Anthony Joshua can begin after Tyson Fury is out of the way. Finkel has told BoxingScene.com, "My reply to Eddie is at present we are only interested in the Tyson Fury fight. After Deontay knocks out Fury, we are open to hear what Eddie has to offer." Meanwhile, the Daily Star reports that Anthony Joshua will not be watching the Fury and Wilder fight on December the 1st live. Quoting Joshua as saying, "Unfortunately the fight's on too early for me, so I'll be sleeping. But I enjoy watching the highlights. I need Wilder to win, and that way it gives me more of an opportunity to fight him, because as a champion, if he retains his belt, I think that's the fight people have been yearning for." Meanwhile, Tyson Fury has seemingly softened his stance towards Joshua and his promoter Hearn, expressing positive statements about the pair in a long-form interview with Gareth Davies. Fury has previously had a tumultuous relationship with Joshua and Hearn, torching both repeatedly in public in the past couple of years. But the rift, it appears to be closing, with Fury having kind words for both on the Fighting Spirits podcast on SoundCloud.
I think he's a decent bloke, to be honest. He's funny, charismatic, young, good looking, tall, everything that a good promoter should be. British, got good dress sense. I don't dislike Eddie. I think he's a nice fella. Like, when I've been in his company and that, we always have a laugh and chat, whatever. And I understand it's just business. With Joshua's performance over Povetkin, he done really well, and Povetkin hit him with some good punches and that. And I even believe he shook him up a few times, and I thought he did fantastic to win and to carry on what he's doing for boxing.
Michael Hunter has claimed another scalp at heavyweight, stopping Alexander Ustinov in Monte Carlo. Throughout the fight, the American found a home for his overhand right and left hook against the very slow and hittable 41-year-old, who was very poor in this fight and wasn't able to keep Hunter off him, or throw many punches for that matter of his own. Ustinov's main tactic in the fight seemed to be to lean on Hunter to tire him out when they were tying up, and that happened often. It was the 8th round when the many rounds of punishment finally caught up with Ustinov, with Hunter dropping him heavily towards the end of the round. See on screen here. And Ustinov, he was again caught at the bell, with the rope seemingly the only thing to stop him from going down again. And the ref, he all but carried Ustinov back to his corner. Then in the 9th, the inevitable happened. Hunter finished the job, sending Ustinov to the canvas again, and at this point the towel came in. After the fight, it was confirmed that Hunter will sneak in another fight for 2018, with his trainer Hasim Rahman confirming he will feature on the undercard of the Dillian Whyte and Derek Chisora pay-per-view event on December 22nd in London. Rahman stated they will have a few more days to prepare than this fight, so the opponent better watch out. Hunter stated he's here to stay in the heavyweight division and he'll keep knocking down these Goliaths, with one of his goals to fight for the USBA title, a title his father once held. He said it's something he's wanted since seeing the belt as a little kid. In terms of a potential opponent for December 22nd, the name Carlos Takam was mentioned during the broadcast. But maybe it will be Joyce. That's another name that has come into the mix. In response to a tweet saying that Joyce would walk through Hunter, Joyce's manager Sam Jones stated, "Facts. Let me put this out there. God willing, Joe gets the job done December 1st. Joe will then fight Hunter on the White Chisora card. Give me a shout." Previously, Jones has mentioned Hunter as a future target for Joyce. And Joyce, he will face Joe Hanks on December 1st. That's as part of the Wilder and Fury undercard, a fight he is expected to win. But going back to Ustinov and Hunter for a moment, particularly Ustinov, in terms of his next step or his career, where does he go from here? Well, it's hard to see where he goes from here at 41 years old other than retirement. He's now had 2 losses in a row to Hunter and previously to Manuel Char a year before that. And in both fights he's looked very poor. Really poor. Retirement would seem to be the logical option, but if he does continue, he does face the prospect of being a gatekeeper or journeyman type of opponent. Lucas Browne has rounded out his 2018 with a stoppage win over New Zealand journeyman Junior Putty in Auckland, New Zealand. The fight was marred by excessive holding from Putty, who was trying to play spoiler and stop the Australian from getting away clean shots. For the first 4 rounds, Putty's spoiling tactics did prove effective, and Browne couldn't land much of note, but he was actively looking for the uppercut as the much shorter Putty tried to close the distance. However, Browne, who came into this fight at a career best weight of 243 pounds, he was still winning rounds from his activity and ring generalship. And visibly, he did look more mobile and agile in the ring at this lower weight when compared to some of his recent performances. It was the 5th round when an uppercut that had been threatening did land, and Putty was sent to the canvas and he couldn't recover. Browne takes away a minor WBC title for his efforts, and he'll be looking for a bigger fight in 2018. Previously, he's spoken of wanting to face the likes of Adam Kanowski and Dave Allen. Browne is set to come off his promotional contract with Ricky Hatton in the new year. Meanwhile, on the other heavyweight fight on the card, Hemi the Heater Hearn returned from more than a year out of the ring to comfortably outpoint Conrad Lamb for a unanimous decision win over 6 rounds. A Hearn who advanced to 11-0 used his mobility and speed advantage over Lamb, who was almost 200 pounds heavier at 434 pounds. You heard that right, 434 pounds. A Hearn who was 246 pounds for the fight, he's got another fight scheduled for December in New Zealand. To some other results, Sergey Kuzmin remains unbeaten after knocking out Laron Mitchell in Atlantic City to advance to 14-0. Another prospect, Yevgeny Tishenko, was also on that same card, scoring a second-round knockout in his fight to improve to 3-0. I haven't managed to catch up with that action in terms of seeing the fights, but those were the results. And the unbeaten Alexander Teslenko has been added to the Adonis Stevenson Vodsic card in Quebec on December the 1st in a 6-rounder. The 14-0 prospect will face Edson Cesar Antonio, who has a record of 40-7. That's it from me. Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out. If you want even more boxing content, come and join me on Patreon. Every week on a Sunday, I drop a new video on something topical or thought-provoking from the heavyweight division, ranging from rankings, the business of boxing, the false economy of deluded fanboys, the twists and turns in the division, to assessments of fighters and their statements. I hope to see you there, and for more information go to patreon.com/boxing squared. The address is on screen now.